Well, it wasn't too long ago that we had a bunch of people here in the KRVN World Headquarters for a major announcement. It was about 3 years ago, 2.5, where KRVN announced we'd acquired the rights to broadcast the sports events and the games, football, basketball, and others at the University of Nebraska, Kearney. And today is another big day in KRVN. Lots of people in the building, and we now turn things over to our General Manager and CEO, Craig Larson. And Craig, another big day in the history of the Rural Radio Network for Nebraska.
Well, as a loafer, it's kind of hard to beat that, but thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. And it became official today that the Nebraska Rural Radio Association has worked out a deal with Legacy Communications, and we are acquiring more radio stations to our fold here. And we have purchased radio stations in Scottsbluff. And in more local interest, we are acquiring the station over in Holdrege, KUVR, which a lot of us are familiar with. I know we have a lot of listeners over in Phelps County, but we have entered into an agreement to purchase KUVR, and that news just became official today.
And I notice you're wearing purple today. Is there any correlation there at all?
Well, I was over in Holdrege earlier today, so yes, a shameless promoter that we are. It's Holdrege purple. It's not even Minden purple. So yeah, I was careful to wear the right shade of purple. We talked to the KUVR staff, and we went around town, and we told some people today, and it will hit the Holdrege paper on Monday. But it's exciting, and near and dear to my heart. That's where I started. That's where Dave Thorell started. Jason Jorgensen started there, and Holdrege has a rich tradition going all the way back to the Whitlock family. Put the station on the air back in the 50s, and it's again part of the deal that we worked with Legacy Communications, and we need to do a little work over there. I know they've had some power issues, and we're going to start working on that. But the official approval for the FCC will probably come in 60 or 90 days, but we're going to start working kind of behind the scenes on that and just add to it over there.
The Nebraska Rural Radio Association, of course, started here at the world headquarters at KRVN, and then Scottsbluff at KNEB, West Point, York, now this edition of an additional footprint in Scottsbluff, plus KUVR in Holdrege. When you look at the totality of the circumstances, when you take what we have currently and what the FCC will likely grant us to be able to have in Scottsbluff and Holdrege, when you take that all in sum, what is the vision for the Rural Radio Association with this expansion 5, 10, 15 years down the road?
Well, we're still bullish on radio, and a lot of people have written off radio, many times through the years. And the one thing about the acquiring these stations out in Scottsbluff, we won't be able to keep all of those, so we'll have to spend some of those. But we're going to have some signals out in Scottsbluff that cover some more territory that we don't currently reach. There's a pretty big AM station that will send a real good signal into Ogallala and get us further north and south, and again, it just gives us more opportunities, with local sports and local news. And if you go back to our mission statement, yes, we're owned by farmers and ranchers, and yes, we're here to serve agriculture, but the next sentence in that is agriculture in rural Nebraska. And it's important for our small towns, towns like Holdrege, towns like Broken Bow, to keep the businesses going, and let's help promote the business. Let's promote the schools. Let's promote all the good activities going on. And again, with another signal, another mechanism, another vehicle, out west and here in South Central, just continue to talk about all the good things that are going on. There's a lot of negativity, as you know, in the world, but there's certainly a lot of good things going on. And we're certainly, again, very, very bullish on radio, and we're happy to have KUVR and the stations out in Scottsbluff part of the family.
General Manager and CEO Craig Larson of the Nebraska Rural Radio Association joining us. Major announcement today, Rural Radio Association acquiring KUVR in Holdrege and additional stations in the Scottsbluff area. Craig, as we wrap up here, final thoughts, and as always, I leave people with the last word. As we move forward here and we add these stations to the Nebraska Rural Radio Association, obviously our annual meeting upcoming, there's good momentum right now around the family.
Well, certainly, and again, it all comes down to serving agriculture in rural Nebraska, and we feel that with additional stations we can continue to serve that, and just again be the local radio station that that Holdrege needs and wants and deserves, and that goes for all our markets. But to be involved in the reception we got over in Holdrege, just by talking with a handful of businesses, they were excited to hear about that, and KRVN's reputation is certainly strong, not only in the state but around the nation, and to come in and say you're now part of the KRVN family, it was a little emotional for the KUVR employees today to be very, talk out of school here a little bit, because there were a lot of rumors of what's going to happen over in Holdrege with the station, and here we are to help and put them in and be part of the family.
Also, fortuitous in all of this is in 4 days we broadcast our most recent Rural Radio Forum talking about rural human infrastructure in Nebraska, and we've already covered concrete infrastructure issues 3 months ago, and now to talk about human infrastructure issues, and a key part of that is a radio.
Sure, and we talked at the Economic Development Office, and I learned a lot going on. That's they're moving right along with some projects over there, and there's a new hotel being built over there, and some new housing coming up, and they talked about some grants available for downtown businesses. And again, we just want to make people aware of that, and take advantage of all the good things that we have out here in rural Nebraska.
That was General Manager and CEO Craig Larson. Major announcement here with the Nebraska Rural Radio Association. Acquisition of KUVR in Holdrege and another 6 stations in the Scottsbluff footprint as well. Craig, as always, good seeing you, brother.
Brandon, appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
He's Craig. I'm Brandon. This is KR.